Dead weight. That's all you are, Mitchell. Colonel Reed's voice cut through Fort Campbell's obstacle course. The towering commander watched Harper Mitchell struggle halfway up the rope climb, her left arm trembling violently. Around them, 20 elite SEAL operators snickered. "Look at her shaking like a leaf," Sergeant Morrison laughed. "Bet she can't even do 5 push-ups." The team erupted as Harper's grip slipped. Reed stepped forward. "This is supposed to be an elite unit, not a daycare center. Get down, Mitchell." Harper's fingers went white. "Sir, I can." "You can what? Get someone killed? I've seen Girl Scouts with more upper body strength." The mocking laughter echoed, but none noticed how Harper's trembling had suddenly stopped. Harper hit the ground hard. Someone had their phone out recording. Private Elena Rodriguez was the only one not laughing. There was something about the way Mitchell moved, slow, deliberate, calculated. Harper stood, brushing dust from her worn BDUs. Her stance was peculiar, feet shoulder-width apart, weight evenly distributed. A fighter's stance, though none noticed. Morrison strutted forward. "Why don't you head back to supply where you belong?" Harper remained silent, fingers unconsciously pressing her left forearm through the fabric. Elena caught the way Harper's jaw tightened, fighting back pain. "All right, enough games," Reed barked. "Full squad, move to the night firing range." He turned to Harper. "Mitchell, follow behind. Try to keep up." The group moved through darkness toward the range, fluid and coordinated. Harper followed at a distance, her gait uneven, favoring her right side. Lance Corporal Torres blocked her path. "You made us 10 minutes late. Maybe you should just quit." Harper checked her old military timepiece, but said nothing, stepping around Torres. Elena quickened her pace beside Harper. "Don't let them get to you." "It's fine," Harper replied quietly. The way she organized her magazine pouches, textbook special operations setup, went unnoticed in the darkness. Master Chief Williams hung back, tracking Harper's movements with unusual interest. Something about Mitchell's movement patterns didn't match her file. The way she automatically checked corners, how her head swiveled to scan for threats. These were ingrained behaviors, not learned responses. The SEALs continued their banter. "I heard she couldn't even qual on an M9 last month. Probably closed her eyes when she pulled the trigger." Morrison glanced back. "I'll put $500, says she can't hit a single target tonight." Reed laughed. "I'll raise you to 1,000. If Mitchell can't hit at least 3 out of 5 at 400 meters, she's gone tonight. No appeals." He raised his voice. "You hearing this, Mitchell? This is your one shot." Harper adjusted the medical wrap around her left wrist. Advanced compression technology for chronic nerve injuries. The prescription nerve medication she'd taken cost 12 times more than regular painkillers. Without it, the damaged nerves from the shrapnel wound would make her arm useless. They reached the night firing range. The 400-meter targets were silhouettes against the treeline, demanding exceptional skill. The SEALs gathered, placing bets. "I say she doesn't even get the rifle shouldered properly," Jackson laughed. "Mitchell, you're up," Reed commanded. 5 rounds, 400 meters. 3 hits, or you're out. Harper selected an M4 carbine. Her fingers swept over the rifle in quick inspection, checking chamber, testing trigger pull, examining sight alignment. Smooth, automatic, completed in seconds. Morrison scoffed. "Look at her pretending she knows what she's doing." Elena stood aside, hands clenched into fists. Harper assumed prone position, but her left arm shook visibly. Morrison couldn't contain his glee. "Look at that. She's so scared she can't even hold it steady." 2 minutes, Mitchell, Reed announced. Harper squeezed off her first shot. "Miss, 2 meters right," the spotter called. The celebration was immediate. 4 rounds left, Mitchell. "Stop wasting ammunition." Harper shifted slightly, then deliberately rolled up her left sleeve. As the fabric pulled back, it revealed something that made Williams take an involuntary step backward. A tattoo. A coiled viper wrapped around the number 17 with a shattered skull beneath. The Ghost Unit 17 emblem. Even more striking was the massive shrapnel scar running the length of her forearm, pink and puckered. Williams' sharp intake of breath caught Reed's attention. The second shot rang out. Hit, center mass, the spotter called, voice uncertain. The laughter died. Morrison's mouth hung open as Harper adjusted position. Third shot. Hit, center mass. Same hole. Now the silence was deafening. 20 elite operators stood frozen. Elena espered a prayer. Williams moved closer to Reed. Sir, you need to look at her arm. Now. Reed turned, irritated. The words died in his throat. Blood drained from his face. No, Reed, breathe. It can't be. Harper remained focused. The fourth shot split the night. Hit. 3 rounds, damn near the same hole. Jesus Christ, the spotter muttered. Morrison stepped forward. What's happening? What's that tattoo mean? Williams answered, voice carrying remembered horror. Ghost Unit 17, Black Ops team that officially never existed. Deployed to Kandahar for Operation Hellfire. August 15, 2019. Entire unit listed Kia after massive ambush. 12 operators dead. No survivors reported. But Jackson stopped, staring at Harper's scarred arm. If there were no survivors, then how? Because one did survive, Williams continued. The only one, call sign Phantom, pulled 6 men from the kill zone while taking heavy fire. Lost most nerve function in her left arm doing it. Reed's legs buckled. He gripped the table, knuckles white. A memory flooded back. Burning fuel, debris pinning him in the Humvee, certainty of death. Then hands, small but impossibly strong, dragging him free as bullets cracked overhead. A voice. Phantom Actual, I've got you. Just hold on. Harper lined up her final shot. Without apparent effort, she shifted to shoot from her hip, not using sights. The rifle barked. Hit. 5 for 5 within a 2-inch group at 400 meters with a damaged arm. Holy! The spotter's detachment evaporated. Harper stood slowly, rolling her sleeve back down. She safetied the rifle, but Reed's voice came broken raw. Phantom. Barely a whisper, then louder. Your Phantom. Harper paused, but didn't turn. The SEAL stood in stunned confusion. Morrison's face had gone pale. Sir, Jackson ventured. What's going on? Reed took a step forward, legs unsteady. August 15th, convoy got hit hard. My Humvee took a direct hit. I was trapped. Fire spreading. Knew I had seconds. His voice grew thick. Williams picked up the story. 6 men were pulled from that kill zone by one operator who refused to leave anyone behind. The shrapnel that caused that scar came from a secondary explosion. She was dragging the 3rd man to safety when an RPG hit close. Could have killed her. Instead, she kept going. Saved 3 more with her arm hanging useless. But Ghost Unit 17 was wiped out. Torres protested. Everyone died. Everyone except one, Reed said. The medic said she lost half her blood volume. Said if she'd waited 2 more minutes for medevac, she'd have died. But she didn't wait. She stayed until every living soldier was clear. Harper finally turned. Permission to return to quarters, sir? Permission. Reed started, then stopped. He straightened to full height and did something shocking. Colonel James Reed dropped to one knee, eyes glistening. You saved my life. I wouldn't have made it home to my wife, my kids. 6 families got their fathers, sons, husbands back because of you, and I, his voice cracked. I called you deadweight. Morrison stumbled backward. Jesus Christ, what have we done? Harper looked down at Reed. You did your job, Colonel. You evaluated a soldier based on current performance. The past is classified. Don't, Reed said fiercely. Don't you dare let us off the hook. Williams stepped forward. The past is classified. Phantom, Ghost Unit 17 officially never existed. Those men who were saved, reports show they were extracted by air support. That's the kind of secret that protects ongoing operations and the kind of sacrifice that never gets recognized. Elena had tears streaming down her face. The quiet supply specialist she befriended was a legend. But why? Morrison asked. Why hide? You could have what? Harper interrupted. Wore my medals, demanded special treatment? That's not what ghosts do. She gestured to her covered arm. 11 good operators died that day. They deserve to be remembered. Not me. Reed stood slowly. Attention, all personnel. The SEALs snapped to attention. Present arms. Specialist Mitchell, You will receive the honor you deserve. 20 elite warriors raised their hands in perfect salute. Harper stepped back, shaking her head. Colonel, this isn't necessary. Silence. This is a direct order. The salute held. Other soldiers from nearby areas, drawn by commotion, began gathering. Word spread through tactical radios. Phantom is here. A young corporal arrived breathless. Sir, is it true? Williams nodded gravely. Specialist Harper Mitchell, also known as Phantom, the only survivor of Ghost Unit 17. The crowd grew. They all came, and as they understood, each straightened and saluted. Morrison broke from a line, approaching with head bowed. Specialist Mitchell, Phantom, there's no apology sufficient. I'm so sorry. Harper met his eyes. You treated me like any soldier who couldn't meet standards. That's what I wanted. But you're not just any soldier, Morrison protested. I'm a supply specialist with nerve damage who can't climb a rope, Harper interrupted. That's all you knew. Torres stepped forward. But we could have helped. If we'd known, treated me differently, Harper finished. Given me special accommodations. That's not what my team would have wanted. They died as warriors. The least I can do is live as one. Reed's voice cut through murmurs. From this moment forward, Specialist Mitchell is primary marksmanship instructor for all special operations units. Any objections? Sir, no, sir. The response was thunderous. Jackson pushed through. Specialist, would you teach us? Really teach us? Harper looked at him. My team is dead, Corporal. I can't teach you to be like them. The crowd deflated, but she continued. What I can teach you is to never underestimate anyone, to judge soldiers by their heart, not their appearance, and to remember that the strongest warriors often choose not to show their strength. Elena wrapped Harper in a fierce hug. Thank you for showing me what real strength looks like. Williams cleared his throat. I should mention, I knew who you were from day one. I was at Kandahar, different unit. Saw what you did. Recognized your movement patterns the first day. Kept quiet because I figured you had your reasons. Then why speak now? Harper asked. Because they needed to learn this lesson. That heroes don't always wear capes or medals. Sometimes they wear supply unit patches and work in warehouses. Reed stepped forward. We need to discuss your future. The Pentagon will want to know. The Pentagon can wait, Harper interrupted. Right now, I have inventory to complete. The crowd parted as she moved to leave. Mitchell, 0600 tomorrow, officers' conference room. That's an order. Harper nodded and continued walking, gait uneven, left arm held carefully. The crowd watched in silence. Morrison turned to the group. Anyone who posted video mocking her, delete it now. Anyone who spreads stories about her being weak, make it right. Starting tomorrow, she teaches us, and we're going to be the best damn students she's ever had. Later, security footage showed Harper in the supply warehouse, methodically checking equipment. Alone, she allowed herself vulnerability, hand tracing the tattoo through her sleeve. Her lips moved in silent words. Names. 11 names of soldiers who would never come home. Elena found her an hour later. You don't have to do this tonight. Harper looked up. My team always completed their missions. The least I can do is finish mine. It's how I honor them. Elena nodded and picked up a clipboard. Together, they worked in silence, checking supplies that would keep other soldiers safe. 3 months passed. Harper's marksmanship classes drew students from across the special operations community. Her teaching style was unique, quiet, patient, focused on fundamentals. Morrison became one of her most dedicated students. During one session, he approached. Why didn't you hate us? We were cruel. Harper adjusted his grip minutely. Anger is weight, Sergeant. I'm already carrying enough. Besides, you treated me exactly as I appeared. That's good operational thinking. But we went beyond maintaining standards, Morrison protested. Yes, Harper agreed simply. And now you know better. That's growth. As word spread, visitors began arriving. Officers from Kandahar, operators who'd heard whispers about Phantom, medical personnel who'd treated the injuries. They came to pay respects, to thank her. Reed became her fiercest protector, shutting down attempts to exploit her story. When a Pentagon officer suggested a media tour, Reed's response was legendarily profane. Harper belonged to Fort Campbell, but changes were coming. The phone on Harper's desk began ringing more frequently. Classified numbers, coded messages, requests for consultation. One evening, as Harper finished teaching, her phone rang. Blocked number, but with a prefix indicating highest military command. The voice was digitally altered, but carried unmistakable authority. Phantom, we have a situation. Your country needs you. Harper glanced at her students. She thought of her team, 11 ghosts who lived on in memory. I'll call you back, she said, ending the connection. Morrison looked up. Everything okay, specialist? Harper considered. For 3 years, she'd hidden in plain sight. She'd been mocked, dismissed, humiliated. But she'd found purpose in teaching. Everything's fine, Sergeant. Now show me that grouping again. As Morrison resumed position, Harper touched her left arm absently. The nerve damage was permanent, but she'd learned to adapt, to find strength in what remained. The phone rang again. This time, she didn't answer immediately. Instead, she watched her students. Morrison with his newfound humility, Elena cross-training with combat units, Jackson's natural talent blooming. They were her mission now. Her way of ensuring Ghost Unit 17's sacrifice continued to matter. The phone stopped ringing, but Harper knew it was temporary. They would call again. Williams had noticed the distraction. Take 5, everyone. As soldiers dispersed, Williams approached. They're not going to stop calling, are they? Harper set down her rifle, fingers massaging her damaged arm. No, they never do when they think they need a ghost. What do they want? Does it matter? Harper's voice carried weariness beyond physical pain. There's always another mission, another crisis. Williams studied her. You're not expendable. Not to these soldiers. Everyone's expendable, Master Chief. That's the first lesson Ghost Unit learned. The only question is whether you make it count. Before Williams could respond, Colonel Reed entered, face grim. Behind him walked General Patricia Hayes, commander of Joint Special Operations Command, the woman who had personally classified the Ghost Unit files. The range fell silent. Hayes was a legend, combat veteran who'd risen by leading from the front. Her presence meant something significant. Specialist Mitchell, Hayes said. We need to talk. Harper remained at attention. Mom. Hayes gestured to Reed's office. Privately. Inside, Hayes didn't waste time. She placed a classified folder on the desk. 18 hours ago, a deep cover asset went dark in eastern Syria. Last transmission indicated critical intel about a planned biological attack. We need extraction. Harper didn't touch the folder. With respect, ma'am, I'm a supply specialist with nerve damage. You need active operators. I need someone who can think like a ghost, Hayes countered. Someone who understands that sometimes the mission isn't about firepower. She pushed the folder closer. The asset is one of yours. Sergeant David Chun, Ghost Unit 15. The name hit Harper like a physical blow. Chun had been her mentor, the one who taught her that survival was about adaptability. She thought Chun was dead. He's been under for 7 years, Hayes continued, living as a local merchant, gathering intel that saved hundreds. Now he's trapped, and every conventional rescue we've modeled ends in catastrophic failure. Harper opened the folder, scanning intelligence reports and satellite imagery. Chun wasn't just trapped. He was being hunted by multiple hostile forces. The building where he'd taken shelter was surrounded. You want me to plan the extraction? Harper said. I want you to lead it, Hayes corrected. You'll have a support team, but this requires ghost thinking. Harper's damaged hand trembled as she studied the imagery. Leading meant field work. It meant trusting her compromised body in life-or-death situations. My arm can still shoot 98% accuracy, Hayes interrupted. Can still think, still lead. I'm not asking you to be the soldier you were. I'm asking you to be the ghost you became. Reed spoke up. Harper, no one would blame you for saying no. You've given enough. Harper looked at the image again. In her mind, she saw Chun, a good soldier who'd spent 7 years in hostile territory. The same dedication her ghost unit had embodied. Who's my team? Hayes smiled grimly. Volunteers from the soldiers you've been training. They requested the assignment when they heard it involved you. Through the window, Harper saw Morrison, Elena, Jackson, and Torres gearing up. They'd already chosen to follow her. They're not ghosts, Harper said. No, Hayes agreed. But they've been trained by one. That might be enough. Harper closed the folder. When do we leave? Wheels up in 2 hours. You'll have a 12-hour flight to finalize your plan. Hayes stood. One more thing. This mission is completely black. If it goes wrong, we never heard of you. Just like old times, Harper murmured. Reed placed a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to do this. Harper thought of Chun alone in hostile territory. She thought of her 11 teammates who'd never had the chance to choose a different path. Yes, she said quietly. Edo. The next 2 hours passed in preparation blur. Harper's team gathered, faces set with determination. Morrison spoke for the group. Just tell us what you need, specialist. We're with you. Harper studied each face. These weren't the soldiers who had mocked her months ago. First lesson of ghost operations, she began. We don't fight the enemy's war. We don't match strength with strength. We use their expectations against them. She pulled up satellite imagery. They expect a military rescue. Helicopters, explosions, show of force. So we give them the opposite. Her finger traced a route that seemed to lead nowhere near Chen's position. We become what they ignore. Over the next 12 hours, aboard military transport, Harper transformed her team. Elena became their cover story, humanitarian aid worker. Morrison and Jackson posed as her security, weapons hidden beneath local clothing. Torres handled electronic surveillance and communications. Harper would be what she'd always been best at being, invisible. The plan was audacious in simplicity. While U.S. forces conducted visible reconnaissance 20 miles away, drawing attention, Harper's team would enter the city as aid workers responding to a cholera outbreak. As they made final approach to the forward operating base, Harper felt familiar pre-mission calm. Remember, she told her team, we're not heroes. We're not soldiers. We're nobody, and nobody is exactly what they won't see coming. The mission unfolded like a deadly dance. While news reports focused on U.S. military movement south, Harper's team slipped through checkpoints with forged papers. Elena played her role perfectly. They reached Chen's location at dawn. The building surrounded, just as intelligence indicated. But Harper saw what others missed. Old sewer tunnels connecting to the building's basement, forgotten on modern maps, but visible in pre-war city planning documents she'd studied. This is insane, Torres whispered as they prepared to enter tunnels. No backup, no extraction plan. Welcome to Ghost Operations, Harper replied. The only extraction plan is success. They moved through darkness and filth, Harper leading despite physical limitations. Her team followed without question. They found Chun in a sub-basement, wounded but alive. His eyes widened. Phantom, they told me you were dead. Ghosts usually are, she replied, assessing his injuries. Can you move? Slowly, but there are 20 hostiles upstairs and more outside. Harper smiled, the expression sharp and dangerous. Good. They're all looking the wrong way. The extraction should have been impossible. By every conventional metric, they were outnumbered, outgunned, trapped. But Harper had learned conventional metrics didn't apply to ghosts. They moved through tunnels, then up through a different building, always staying where attention wasn't focused. When they reached the extraction point, a medical convoy heading to Turkish border, Chun gripped Harper's hand. Thank you. I thought I'd die alone there. No ghost dies alone, Harper said quietly. Not while others remember. The flight back to Fort Campbell was subdued. They had completed an impossible mission without firing a shot. Morrison finally broke silence. Is it always like that? The fear, the uncertainty, but also the clarity? Harper nodded. Every time. The day it stops feeling that way is the day you stop being effective. Elena was checking Chen's wounds. Understand now why you hide, why you chose supply duty. After something like this, how do you go back to normal? You don't, Harper admitted. You carry it with you, but you learn to function anyway. You find new purpose. They landed at Fort Campbell in early morning. General Hayes was waiting with a medical team for Chun. She nodded to Harper, the only acknowledgement of the mission's success that would ever be officially recorded. As Harper's team dispersed, Hayes pulled her aside. Outstanding work. Exactly what I expected from Phantom. Harper met her gaze steadily. Don't call again, General. This was the last time. Hayes studied her. You sure about that? My ghosts are at peace now. Chun is safe. My debt is paid. Harper glanced at her team. I have new responsibilities. New purpose. Hayes nodded slowly. Understood. But Harper, if we ever truly need Phantom again, Harper didn't answer directly. Instead, she rolled up her sleeve one last time, looking at the tattoo and scar. Ghosts don't retire, General. They just learn to haunt different places. Weeks followed. Harper returned to her dual role, supply specialist and marksmanship instructor. But something had changed. The soldiers she taught carried themselves differently. Morrison, Elena, Jackson, and Torres became instructors themselves, passing on lessons learned in darkness. One evening, Harper found a package on her desk. No return address, but she recognized the handwriting. Inside was a photograph. Chun with his family, safe in witness protection, finally free to live without looking over his shoulder. The note was simple. A ghost saved my life. The least I can do is live it well. Harper placed the photo in her desk drawer next to the one of Ghost Unit 17. 11 faces frozen in time, plus one who survived to carry their memory. She locked the drawer and returned to work. Months passed. The phone gathered dust, its silence testament to her final refusal. New soldiers arrived, heard whispers about the supply specialist who was more than she seemed. But Harper never confirmed or denied. She simply worked, taught, and honored her ghosts through quiet service. Then came the night when everything shifted one final time. Harper was alone in the warehouse, completing monthly inventory. The base was quiet. She heard the door open, but didn't look up. Working late again, Mitchell. The voice made her freeze. She knew it instantly, though she hadn't heard it in 5 years. Slowly, she turned. Major Ryan Cole stood there, face scarred but unmistakable. Ghost Unit 17's second in command. The one whose body had never been recovered. The one she'd mourned. You're dead, she whispered. I saw the building collapse. No one could have survived. Cole stepped in a light, movements careful, controlled. Ghosts have a way of surviving the impossible. You should know that better than anyone. He glanced at her arm. Just like they have a way of paying prices no one else sees. Harper's mind raced. If Cole was alive, if he'd been alive all this time, where have you been? Prisoner. Escaped. Spent 3 years making my way back. His voice was flat, emotionless, only to find out my unit was written off. Dead and buried. Forgotten. Never forgotten, Harper said fiercely. I carry them every day. Honor them with what? Cole interrupted, calm facade cracking. By hiding? By pretending to be weak? That's not what we train for, Harper. She saw it then, the rage beneath his exterior. The bitter anger of someone who'd suffered alone. This wasn't the Cole she remembered. This was someone broken by isolation and pain. Ryan, she said carefully, you need help. Medical attention, psychological support. What I've been through, show me the truth. Cole cut her off. We were tools. Disposable. Used and thrown away. He pulled out a folder thick with documents. I've spent 2 years gathering this. Names, operations, secrets certain people would kill to keep buried. Harper understood immediately. Cole wasn't here for reunion or rescue. He was here for revenge. You can't expose classified operations. People will die. Good people like us already died, Cole snarled. And for what? So politicians could play games. He set the folder on her desk. I'm offering you a choice, Harper. Join me in bringing it all into the light, or stay here playing supply clerk while I burn it all down alone. The weight of the moment pressed down. She could see the pain in Cole's eyes, understand the rage that drove him. But she also saw the 11 faces in her drawer. Soldiers who believed in something greater. The team wouldn't want this, she said quietly. The team is dead, Cole shouted. I'm what's left. Me and you. And I'm done being a ghost for people who see us as expendable assets. Harper stood slowly, damaged arm sending shoots of pain. She moved to the desk, picked up the folder, felt its weight. Secrets that could destroy careers, expose operations, endanger assets still in the field. Cole watched her, hope and desperation warring in his eyes. She thought of Chun, alive because ghosts still believed. of her students learning that strength meant more than physical power, of Reed, who'd learned to see past appearances, of 11 ghosts who'd given everything, believing it mattered. "You're right," she said finally. "We were tools." Cole straightened, anticipation lighting his scarred features. "But we chose to be. Every mission, every sacrifice. We chose it not for politicians or generals, but for the soldiers next to us, for the families who'd never know our names." She held out the folder to him. "Take it. Burn the world down if that's what you need. But you'll do it alone, because I choose to honor our team differently." Cole stared at her, then at the folder. "You're a fool, Harper, still believing in a system that threw you away." "No," she corrected. "I believe in the people. In Morrison, who learned humility. In Elena, who found courage. In every soldier who comes through that door looking to be better." She set the folder down between them. "That's my mission now. That's how I honor our ghosts." For a long moment, Cole stood frozen. She could see the war inside him. The operative who'd followed orders fighting against the broken man who'd suffered alone. Finally, his shoulders slumped. "I can't," he whispered. "I can't just pretend it meant something when I lost everything." Harper moved around the desk, her steps careful. She reached out with her good hand and gripped his shoulder. "Then don't pretend. Stay. Heal. Help me teach the next generation to be better than we were." Cole looked at her, tears cutting through dirt and scars. I'm not who I was, Harper. That man died in that building. So did the woman I was," Harper admitted. "But we're still here, still breathing. That has to count for something." The folder sat between them, secrets untouched. Outside, the base was beginning to wake. Harper heard familiar voices. Morrison running PT, Elena preparing medical supplies, Torres calibrating equipment. Cole picked up the folder slowly. For a moment, Harper tensed, unsure which choice he'd make. Then he walked to the industrial shredder in the corner and fed the papers through one by one. Years of gathered intelligence destroyed in minutes. "Now what?" he asked when it was done. Harper rolled down her sleeve, covering the tattoo that had defined so much of her life. "Now you meet my students. Fair warning, they're a handful. Stubborn, prideful. Think they know everything." She smiled slightly. "Remind you of anyone?" Cole's laugh was rusty and used. Yeah, they do." As the sun rose over Fort Campbell, 2 ghosts walked out of the warehouse. Not to disappear into shadows or take on another impossible mission, but to face something harder, living in the light, teaching others to be better, honoring the dead by serving the living. Behind them on Harper's desk, the phone remained silent. It would ring again someday. But for now, there were students to teach, soldiers to shape, and ghosts to lay to rest through purpose rather than revenge. The last entry in Harper's personal journal that night was brief. "Cole lives. The unit is not forgotten. We continue to serve, just differently than before. Tomorrow, we begin again." And in the margin, barely visible, she'd written 11 names. Not in mourning anymore, but in promise. Their sacrifice would echo through every soldier she trained, every life she touched, every choice to be better than circumstances demanded. Ghosts, after all, are only as powerful as the living who remember them. And Harper Mitchell, Phantom of Ghost Unit 17, would make certain they were never forgotten. The journal closed. The lights dimmed. And somewhere in the darkness, a warrior's greatest weapon waited patiently for dawn. The choice to keep going, to keep teaching, to keep believing that service meant more than recognition. That strength showed itself in unexpected ways. And that sometimes the most powerful thing a ghost could do was refuse to disappear.